Talk to us, geographer, please.
Can you come into the microphone, please?
She was just trying to be kind. She was just trying to be kind.
Trying to be in the shadow.
Oh, Lord.
But now I don't remember what my comment was. Oh, I was gonna say, when you brought up the compass, it was cool because I feel like where I thought you were gonna go was like when you know where you're going, like if you're like, okay, I'm trying to go north, it's not necessarily that like south or west is a bad thing, but it's just not where you're trying to go.
Right.
So it's like, you know where you've been, and therefore you can redirect yourself for where your goal is and where you're trying to, get to based on said compass and
right,
said map.
Also right. This is a collaborative session. You know what I'm saying? So I am not a map maker. I am just a man who has traveled many places and documented the places I've been. This ain't a map yet. This is just a stone wall with some scribbles on it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, hopefully, the information will lead to somebody who's smarter than me and more experienced with map making that might be able to make sense of these things.
The inner pun in all of this. I went to school and studied geography, aka cartography and map making.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the irony. I don't know.
Yep.
You did a great job.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, pal. Yeah.
Okay, so I know there's not like a panel for purpose, a real talk purpose panel, but I just have a question because, I think that I really loved the map, right? And I liked how you broke down the big P versus the little P's, right? And then this one over here really messed me up because, truly, because I think that what you said is so true, this direction is not necessarily bad, right? Just like you're saying, north, south, east, west, just because you're going west right now may not be where you want to go or where you want to be, but that's where God has you at, And I really like that. But I want to say, as it relates to your purpose journey, how do you relate the little P's and the big P's to where God has you right now?
Let's see. I think that I'm a very I'm my parents' child.
We all are.
Right. I'm a very what's the word? What's the word when you sentimental? That's the word. I'm a sentimental person. So I like to keep my belongings, when I lived in, in Ohio back in it, I found this. So for me, as a very sentimental person of purpose, I am very intentional about every stop. I have all the things. I think some people will stop. I lived in Dallas for 10 years, and I don't got a thing left from Dallas. I worked at a job for 2 days. I got that thing with me. You know what I'm saying? Now this is my ID card. So every skill, experience, thing that I've gone to and lived through and done, I think is leading me to where I am now, or has led me to where I am now. Yeah. And those who don't know me, I'm a very multi-hyphenate artist, I guess would be probably the best way to describe it. Hence me being on the panel and recording the panel. So I have done a whole lot of things. I've worn like 100 hats. And so like the goal as like the person who eventually wants to, commandeer a ship, creative direct, etc., knowing and having sat in all of the seats, like my best favorite band director was like a band director who played every instrument. And he could sit down at the first chair of any instrument and play it better than them. Like, oh, no, you sit down, French horn. No, oh no, percussion. Like he could literally sit with everybody. Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of value in being a person who leads a team from the standpoint of having sat and been the team and sat in all of the seats and had to clean up the bathrooms and all the things. I think that there's value in being a leader that has those experiences and keeps those experiences with them. Yeah.
No, I think that's cool because I think like when you first said like, like you're very like sentimental type of person, I think like most people are like, oh, like, he got baggage, right?
Right.
But like the baggage in this case is like your skills. So
right.
like you're holding on to each skill that you had from your previous experience and seeing how it can help you in your next experience.
Exactly.
Right? So my last question to you is, what's your next experience?
Oh, you trying to set me up the plug. I think the next thing I want to do, I'm like plotting on a solo show, which ironically enough, I got a text about that. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, let's talk about that later.
I am an installation artist amongst many things, and been trying for the last few years. Like, my art is about introspection and like this really intimate experience between you and the art. Right, so like I build experiences and installations where like you will experience the art. It's just you and the art in the room. I make it so that nobody else is in the art room with you or in this experience with you. You have an intimate moment with you and the piece alone. And it also like usually doesn't photograph well. It's like one of those things where like you have to experience it, and the only way you have to experience it in person. And like when a moment's gone, it's gone, and it's just like a very impactful thing. And I was like, man, I really want to figure out a way, to Dwight's earlier point, to make it more accessible, to like give people opportunity to like, oh, if you didn't come, or if you came and you left, and you like ways to take these things with them. And like maybe have them at home or maybe get it for their friend or whatever. And so I've been trying to transition from this installation art to like objects and furniture and like creating like smaller or larger scale works of art that like can be for purchase, and you could have it at home as like a reminder of like these things you learned about yourself or as a small reminder to yourself. And so I want to do a solo show this year that would not only be that, very ironic because we talked about all of the things, this would be part 3 of like a 3-part series of shows that like part 1 was this a design company, build design firm that I launched. Part 2 was like some clothes that I made, a brand I launched. And part 3 is like my own personal practice, which is, involved because it's part 3, it's my own individual practice. It's part 3, I'm the third of 3 men named my name. It's part 3 because there's 3 parts to my practice. And this would be the solo show that involves all 3 of those things. So.
That's super exciting.
Thank you.
All right, give it up for Prince J.
Yeah.